Hey, Ron, we're about to start.
Vote 2, I will call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which unites one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sarah, could you do roll call, please?
President Bucher,
Here.
Trustee Barheit,
Here.
Trustee Brooks,
Here.
Trustee Polly,
Here.
Trustee Faber,
Here.
Trustee Hopkins,
Here.
and Trustee Gant.
Here via phone.
Did we meet open meeting compliance?
Yes, an amended agenda was posted yesterday, October 6th, online and here at Village Hall.
Great. Trustees, do I have any changes to the agenda sequence or do I have approval?
Approval. Approval.
Approved. Okay, great. We'll go into public comments. Please address the board. There will be no back and forth discussions and there is a 3-minute time limit. Robert Ross, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Tonight, I promise to be brief. Robert Ross, 20423 Isola Avenue, Lake Villa. And I gave the board members 2 handouts, one of which I left a few extra copies on the table, and that pertains to the wetland issue. I sent an open record request to the DNR, got their September 22nd letter and the wetland report. I just attached 2 pages of the report, but I know you're going to have Vince from Hay and Associates speak later. So I'm just going to say that it is a wetland. It is a violation and it was just really poorly planned and it should have never happened. As far as when this originally came up in the public comments, there was some discussion. It's not a wetland, it's a cow pond. I attached a part of the C1 zoning ordinance, which in there, it does allow grazing of cattle and erecting fences. So it can be both a wetland and a cow pond. So that I hope is not going to be an issue with what I'm bringing up next, which is about the garage permit. There seems to be a great deal of confusion with county and zoning staff about what is a private garage. I have been told that a private garage is only allowed in a C2 zoning district, which makes absolutely no sense, but that is how they are justifying the permit that was issued. And I'm a land surveyor, so I'm a bit of a math geek. And as many of you will probably remember, all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. As far as the definitions in your ordinance for garages, you have attached and detached. They both can be private garages. However, the exact wording for an attached garage, which is this particular permit, it is clearly stated it is a private garage. That definition limits the size and the use. So in this case, a private attached garage is both a rectangle and a square. And that's all. I'm just going to leave it, other than there have been multiple violations. Permit or fines were issued in December the cost of those fines has incrementally increased because permit conditions have not been met. But my client received from an email stating that it is all in compliance. And I don't understand how you can have violations, fines, which are increasing, and yet the permit is all good. Thank you.
Thank you. Alan Colley, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, how you guys doing this evening? My name is Alan Colley. I have a property at 11333 Fox River Road. Over the last couple of months, I've been attending both the Planning Commission and the board meetings. I'm here in reference to 10.3, which is the PUD overlay that has been in discussion for some time. I just want to thank the Planning Committee. They've put a lot of time and effort into trying to think this through. They're not at a full, everyone on the same sheet of music, but they did come to a consensus to allow small businesses to at least present business opportunities, which I'm very appreciative for. I'm hoping that the board approves their recommendation tonight. They also have some other stuff I think they're going to present that I think is advantageous for the community. I'm a big community man. We're hoping to do something really nice in the Wilmot area with our building, and we'll probably see you again in the future with hopefully a thumbs up, but there's always a chance for a thumbs down. But we appreciate your time, and again, Planning Committee, I know some of you guys are here. You guys are doing a great job, and you're thinking things through. And I know your intent is pure, and from a person who owns a property, you don't always get what you want, but when someone's heart's in it the right way, it's appreciated. So I just want to say thank you. So thank you all.
Thank you. Jeff Albrecht, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Jeff Albrecht, 112 West Maple Street, Silver Lake. Come before you tonight to address two agenda items. The first one is item number 10.1, ordinance repealing and creating the municipal zoning code related to PUD overlay districts. As a member of the Village of Salem Lakes Planning and Zoning Commission, we passed this change along to the village board with a recommendation to approve. As you know, this topic has been before you previously, most recently to reconsider a recommendation, as many perhaps of the Planning Commission members had reservations about the provision for minimum acreage for the various municipal use categories. Staff had recommended 0 minimum acres for all categories. Although the Planning Commission did not pass along those recommendations, we did have a majority vote as a compromise. The feeling amongst the majority of the members was that this should be an interim arrangement passed based on needs so that viable projects could be considered near term. I believe that the majority would like to have amended the ordinance with a recommendation creating 2 PUDs, one for pre-existing and perhaps non-conforming uses, and another one for new designations. But staff had staff not insisted that our only alternative was to change minimum acreages only, and that's what we passed along to you. That left many members uncomfortable with the recommendation that you are considering tonight. However, it is an interim and it is strong. However, as opinion of many of the Planning Commission members, this matter should be passed along to the village board tonight, asking for approval to continue our work in the near future to explore 2 PUDs, creating more relevant, permanent, and real-world changes for the board to consider. I would ask this topic be in our next Planning Commission meeting agenda for next week so that we can begin to complete our work at the soonest possible time. The second item is on agenda item number 15.1, the potential sale of Silver Lake Village Hall Fire and Rescue Building. I would only ask that if the board is going to put this on the open market, that we consider the Village Overlay District, which is going to be upcoming in Silver Lake at some point in time, and that it be incorporated in that Village Overlay District for a proper way to have this building melded with the rest of the community. Prior to leaving, Administrator Hiller had indicated that there was an active interest by a single developer or perhaps more willing to step forward with a comprehensive proposal for development of this area. There's been no information released to the public, so we don't know if that's true or what's the state is now, but I'd ask you to please look into this and call it. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Filiatro, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Brian Pliatra, 25,700 Silver Lake Road. I just had a chance, Robert came in and handed this document about the Department of Natural Resources determination. I'm glad that this chapter can be closed. I'm glad that the village isn't going to incur any extensive costs. But what I would say, this is probably one of the most rosiest pictures I've ever seen as far as this trail that was being put in, the damage that was done to this area. It's uncalled for. A private citizen would never be allowed to do this. They'd get crucified. It wouldn't look like this. I'm glad that the village is going to be able to skate. The bigger issue I have is one trustee on social media decided to make a statement that this was no big deal. It's a big deal. Okay, our village went into a C1 wetland and did work they shouldn't have done. It's not allowed. Okay, there's a process. Process failed from the very beginning. So anybody that's not making this a big deal, it's wrong. Because if a citizen does this or developer does this, they'll be crucified. Now, there's some things that need to be fixed here. We have a weir coming off the stormwater. It's never been repaired. It needs to be repaired. It needs to be a front and center issue. As far as the excavation, it amazes me that this trail doesn't show any repair to that area. It's clear that you cannot tell whether that's a wetland or not. So this is a very rosy picture of all that dirt that was moved, that backfilled into there, the trees that were cut down. I'm glad the village is going to be able to move on from this, but hopefully it's a cautionary tale that these things should not happen. It's expected that the people that apply for permits, that this doesn't happen. It should be, the village should be held to even a higher standard. So hopefully in the future, we've learned from this, that there's a process and it needs to be followed by all parties, not just citizens. And then regarding another issue quickly, we need to spend some time and look at our permitting process. We have to fix this, okay? Our permit process is not being done properly. We have trustees that are interfering with permit processing. It gives the appearance of weaponization. We need to fix this so that development is not happening because we have all these code issues. It's happening because we're difficult. We need to fix that. It's not that hard. I think we need to set a commission and try to fix that so that we can be more inviting and try to solve problems and not basically create problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Jean Roten, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Jean Roten, 8848 Fox River Road. I am here today because I want to express a concern regarding the permitting process. I purchased my property here about 2 years ago and have found nothing but violations and have been doing fixes on this ever since getting it. The people I bought it from told me that everything was done with a permit. If there were permits on this, nobody seems to have a record of them. And I've spent so far close to $20,000 just trying to get the electrical to where it's supposed to be on this property. Somebody issued a conditional use permit on this property for the kennels, which is great. That's the reason I bought it. I run a dog rescue. I am licensed by the state of Wisconsin. I spent over $25,000 modifying that building to be compliant with what the state requires. Yet Silver Lake, Salem Lakes allowed these people to be breeders there in the most disgusting facility that I have ever walked into. If I hadn't purchased it, I would have reported it. Now, where my concerns come in is I wanted to add a building in order for storage for my rescue. I reached out to Ben Finkelborn and on April 28th or April 24th, April 28th, May 5th. I finally got an answer from him on May 19th. No, I reached out to him again on May 19th. I got an answer on May 21st. Never once did he mention anything about my conditional use permit, but at that point in time, I had violated a rule without knowing it by having a semi-trailer for storage on my property, and John Carrier was there, talked to me about it, got the I had to move the trailer because I was now out of time and I did not want to be in violation. So I moved it. I wasn't able to build anything. Never was the conditional use permit brought up when I asked about doing an addition. I did say I was going to proceed with doing something in the future, wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I then was able to find this prefabbed building that could be moved to the property that I wanted to do in addition, because he did tell me I needed to be an addition because of the number of acres I have. So I wanted it to be an addition. I sent him a message. I sent it to John Carrier on September 9th because he had been so amazingly responsive and supportive in things. He responded to me right away on the 9th. I sent the email to Ben, which is where he told me I needed to go. I emailed Ben again on the 11th. I emailed Ben again on the 12th. I received no response whatsoever. I reached out to this Board of Trustees on 9/24. Okay, I did get an email from Peter Poley, which I greatly appreciate, and some of you, I believe, were copied on that message. At which point I suddenly got a response from Ben on 9/26. This permit process is broken.
Thank you,
And-
Jean.
Thank you. Okay, for president's comments today, I would just like to take a minute to welcome our interim administrator, Jay. I don't know how to say your last name correctly, Shambo. Shambo, okay. So Jay is here filling in about 2 days a week, 20 hours. So far, he is doing a great job and thank you. So I just wanted to take a minute just to recognize that. So we will go into number 8, presentation, petitions, communications. 8.1 pond wetland update, Vince Mosca, Hay and Associates.
My name is Vince Mosca with Hay and Associates, based out of Volo, Illinois. I've been a wetland practitioner for 36 years and previously lived in Sunset Oaks in the 90s. So many of you are familiar with some of the overall details, but we were reached out by the village about an issue. They had received a letter from the DNR, a cease and desist letter back in the springtime about some work that had been done in the winter. Some small amount of mechanical clearing, not grubbing, but the removal of some trees, mowing, a small amount of grading. I don't know how the violation was found out, but the DNR issued the cease and desist letter. A meeting was convened with staff, myself, and 3 people from the DNR early summer to go look at the work that had been done there. We sort of agreed on a wetland boundary at that time and that there was a small violation. We estimated that at a little under 500 square feet. And so the DNR had recommended that we do it's called a approved jurisdictional determination request with the Army Corps of Engineers, federal, which we submitted in the summertime. About 2.5 months later, we got a letter back saying that the federal government was not going to take jurisdiction over the wetland pond area and that it would only be a local and state issue. And so the DNR the Army Corps issued their letter, and then the DNR issued the letter that was discussed earlier on September 22nd, saying that the violation was closed. You should have got a permit from us in the first place. You didn't, but it's closed now. And if you want to pursue finishing the trail, you got to come back and talk to us. So my current understanding is that the village may not actually pursue finishing the trail. So no other work would have to be done. But if you ever wanted to revisit the trail, we'd have to submit for the non-exempt wetland exemption from the state. Direct questions or anything? So if my opinion is that the issue is closed until further notice.
So I do have a question. Do we just, and this maybe is more stormwater. You would know better, but there's the entire weir along the pond was
Mhm.
bulldozed through or skid steer with tracks. And the rocks pushed into the pond and the silt fence ripped up. So we're in full clearance to just leave that as is,
Separate issue.
separate issue.
Mhm. So without getting too far down that road, you had an existing. Bless you. Existing riprap on the pond side, culvert through the trail, through the proposed trail, and then riprap. If you wanted to maintain that, I think you could do that without a permit. Because you're not in the wetland.
In your
It's a-
opinion,
it's a-
whose jurisdiction would that be? Would that be like county stormwater, like if we want?
Yeah, just maintenance, probably the county. I don't know. I don't think it's such a small area. It wouldn't kick in any kind of permit, especially since it's already been permitted.
Previously for the original
Previously.
construction,
I
you
would
mean?
talk to your engineer about that, but I would say that a small project like that, maintenance, kind of an afternoon's worth of work, where you could proceed in earnest.
Do we have to stabilize the bank where they cut through?
That have to, it wasn't required. It's a good idea. Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vin. Okay, number 9, Fire Department, discussion and possible action on the following items. 9.1, swearing in of fire department personnel. So I'd like to welcome everyone here today. The board, we have fire commission member, families and guests. I'd like to recognize our fire chief, Chief Alcar, and the command staff that are here today. And we're here today to recognize 9 new members of our Salem Lakes Fire Rescue. And I'm going to hand it over now to you, Chief.
Thank you, Madam President. Board members, thank you very much. Members of the Fire Commission, Chris, and in particular, the family members that are here tonight and the friends that are here to represent, watch, and be part of this most proud moment. This has been kind of a milestone coming, and if you will, I'd like to read a few prepared comments regarding tonight. The format will be some comments by me. We'll see a brief video of what they had encountered during their training. And at the end of that, we'll go into the pinning ceremony where family members will be invited to come and pin their member as we do, and then followed by the oath of office. So it's basically going to lay out in that format so everybody is aware. Tonight is a proud moment for the Salem Lakes Fire Rescue in our community. We gather not just to welcome 9 new members, but to recognize the continued evolution of our department that refuses to settle for ordinary. The ceremony marks more than the swearing in of firefighters. It marks the next chapter in our department's story, a story built on professionalism, integrity, and pride in service. Over the past year, we've worked intentionally to strengthen our foundation, to restore tradition, reinforce accountability, and reestablish pride in who we are and what we stand for. These 9 individuals represent the next generation of that commitment. They have completed our academy not as a checkbox, but as a rite of passage into the culture that values discipline, teamwork, and integrity. This is a continuation of our revitalization plan, one focused on professionalism, unity, and community trust. Every new badge pinned tonight is a symbol, not of rank, but of responsibility. It's a reminder that with every shift, every call, every act of service, we carry the weight of the department's reputation and the trust of every citizen that we serve. To our members, you're not here by chance. You're here because you were chosen to represent the future of our organization. The oath you take tonight is more than words. It's a promise to your crew, your department, your community, and to each other. You now stand among a long line of men and women who have answered the call And now it's your turn to carry that responsibility forward. As we present your badges tonight and you administer the oath, take a moment to reflect on what that emblem represents to you. It's not about being perfect. It's about being prepared, accountable, and united in purpose. We're not just building the department, we're rebuilding a legacy, one firefighter, one act of service, and one shared standard at a time. Congratulations to our newest members of the Salem Lakes Fire and Rescue Department. To the village board, to our community, our families that are here tonight, thank you for your continued support. It means a great deal. The progress you see in this department is not accidental. It's the result of dedication, vision, and a collective belief in what the fire service can become. Together, we're proving that culture is not inherited, but it's built, lived, and led. Our members went through a fairly aggressive, grueling week of orientation and academy-style training. We'd like to share just a few moments of that with you. If you'll watch the screens, Brian will put up a little video. One of the few pleasures and absolute honors that a fire chief has is the privilege of pinning new members. I'd like to do that this evening. And we're going to do this alphabetical order. And we're going to start with Rhonda Bauman. Rhonda is being pinned by her godson, and I'd like Rhonda to come up. Like to welcome Jason Kyra. Jason is being pinned by his wife. I'd like to introduce Matthew Christopherson. Matthew is being pinned by his mentor and Lieutenant Jackie Steff. Like to welcome up Edward Cruz Sineros. Incidentally, this is Eduardo's wife. Please welcome Devin Gottiger. Devin's being pinned by his wife. Please welcome James Kirby. James is being pinned by his girlfriend. Please welcome Brian Nielsen. Brian's being pinned by his wife and probably their little one. Next, I'd like to introduce Charles Ross. Charles is being pinned by his mom and probably dad. Come on up. Closing out tonight's pinning ceremony is Elizabeth Saftig. And Elizabeth has brought her grandfather with her tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring our crew up now, our 9 newest members to be sworn in by our village clerk, Sarah. If the team would come back up, please.
Could you do it where they face the, could you do it where they face the,
Turn them around and then.
face the audience? Yeah. It's a community event. There you go.
Raise your right hand. I state your name. You solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of a Sago Lakes firefighter. Support the Constitution. The laws of the United States. The Constitution and the laws of the state of Wisconsin. The ordinances of the village of Salem Lakes. And the rules and regulations of the Salem Lakes Fire Rescue Department. I promise that I will at all times. Conduct myself in a manner. That reflects positively on the department. And the village of Salem Lakes. I will faithfully discharge my duty. To the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Behalf of the Salem Lakes Fire and Rescue Department, it's my pleasure and honor to present this tonight. And I thank you so much for your continued support, both as a community and as a governing body. Thanks once again.
Thank you. Okay. 9.2 Fire Department update, staffing, training and academy. Oh, am I supposed to do group photos first? Yeah. Huh? Does anyone want to come up and do photos from the families? There you go. Absolutely.
You all got to kind of like double up, overlap a little bit.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
This would have been possible without the tireless effort of our command staff, Assistant Chief Mike Keski and Division Chief Jill Torres. Without their continued efforts and tireless work, none of this would have come together. I'm grateful and honored to have those as part of our staff. Once again, thank you, everyone.
Okay, now we will move on. 9.2, Fire Department update, staffing, training, and academy. If you have anything else that you would like to add? Sorry.
That as we go forward from this initiative, we continue to search for part-time members. If there's people who are interested in joining the department on a part-time basis, we absolutely could use the additions. We continue to grow. The attitude, the initiative, the direction that we're going is extremely positive. We still have a very busy month of training. As everyone knows, October is Fire Safety Month. So you're going to see our members out in the schools doing fire prevention trainings, as well as welcoming the community to come in and see who we are and what we're all about. A little bit about Fire Safety Month. It all started from 1871, the Great Chicago Fire. And what a lot of folks may not know is that there was an equally and more devastating fire up in Peshtigo, Wisconsin on the same day. So from that, Fire Prevention Week started, and it becomes an annual event in October. As part of Fire Prevention Weeks, if you still have the type of battery operated smoke detectors, remind you to change the batteries out. Saves lives. The department continues to move forward in a positive manner. We currently have a full staff of 15 full-time firefighters, as well as 3 command members. And we, again, like I stated earlier, are continuing to seek for more talent and more help and more energy. We're healthy, we're going in a good direction, and it's because of the efforts of our community, our staff, and of course, your support as it continues. Again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to number 10, planning and zoning, discussion and possible action on the following. 10.1, ordinance 2025.09-102, an ordinance repealing and recreating chapter 490-30.4 of the municipal zoning code of the Village of Salem Lakes relating to planned unit development overlay district. I'm gonna invite
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff Albrecht.
no, Andy.
Beauty.
Andy.
Hi, thank you for your time here. So I think item is familiar with the board, and I think Plan Commissioner Albrecht pretty much stated what took place at the Plan Commission and what's before you tonight. I guess I'll stay in here if you have any further questions regarding it. We have a summary of a sheet that we provided the Plan Commission, and then we also provided the board with what the current ordinance is, what the staff recommendation, and then what the Plan Commission recommendation is before you tonight.
Yeah, Andy or Jeff, one of the two. I see here that the staff is recommending 5 acres for industrial mixed use. And you guys are recommending 10. What's the difference? I mean, why?
Took a look at good use in a lot of different places, and saw that nobody had zeros, but other units did have 5s, 10s. So we took a look at those, and that seems to be a designation felt very comfortable, but I was confident that somebody there was, you could find no instance where there was 0 across the board. So there was quite a spirit. Like I think some like feel this also very good stuff and those projects put up your horizon.
So the paperwork we received, it says here the villages of Pleasant Prairie and Summers have removed the minimum requirements entirely. So that's zero in my eyes.
Excuse me? Well, they're both current. The one that we did talk about is that the county was looking at changing the ordinance to be similar
To which, Andy?
to
Zero.
moving to a zero across the board. So there's more flexibility.
So why wouldn't we do that then? Summers in Pleasant Prairie and now the county. I'm asking why. Mhm.
I think from a staff standpoint, we had what we were looking for some change. But with all the discussion that was going on with the plan commission, I mean, there was a lot of deliberation, a lot of discussion on these things. I think from what we heard from some of the citizens of the community on where they're at from a commercial standpoint, I think the biggest changes did get passed through from the plan commission. That was an area that there was a lot of debate with the commercial, and that was brought to zero because of different residents that did come in. One that's here tonight that presented on again being able to make some work changes in those areas that are the hamlets. And then you heard Commissioner Albrecht mention on how there was a lot of discussion in regards to existing development and new development, because we heard over and over again in the hamlet areas where there is existing development that there's some difficulties with working with the existing ordinance until it gets addressed, as also is on the floor for discussion with the amendments, or I guess the update to the zoning ordinance and the land division ordinance. So I think, as he indicated, this is a great interim. It at least provides some ability to work with some of these property owners on being able to do something. And hopefully there'll be that opportunity where the village will put forward the opportunity to take a look at the zoning ordinance and try to work with the just those hamlet areas. They're just so different than anywhere else. And although there is overlay district in the ordinance to work with it, it's a very difficult process to go through. And I think if going through the update to the zoning ordinance, that the intent is to look at those areas, that will be a great time to address them. There'll be public hearings, be able to get input from the public, and then all those hamlet areas could all be done at one time.
So if I'm understanding then this interim, these numbers are going to change again. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, that's gonna be a part. We felt that let's just use the overlay district. As there would be right now, great deal of difficult overlay district, out of district, develop that out there, add an overlay district, even the under auspices one development. And if it's residential, it would have to be under controlled by one development. This just gives us maximum flexibility. We need to spot this over because it's not fixed. So we went back and forth, we had a lot of citizens. Well, it just, these allows things to go forward. We can go back and work on it and workshop that basis, come up with, I think it's going to be beneficial. Specifically, the ability to say links and all the specific. Feel that's work right now. That's what we need to work now. It's not very, very powerful. That's not necessarily. I can add another thing that felt that he really wanted to have two separate all and all which I allow give the award will be really how about we have to bring it up to it at another meeting so that we can put it on the agenda of the meeting. Because you kind of want
So I just
Yeah.
wanted to kind of jump in here, and I think,
That meeting.
Ross, you might have kind of encapsulated where I was about to go. But just to add to that there's interest in, you have existing properties non-conforming that are, and we have people here tonight who spoke earlier regarding limitations without being able to come up with something that takes care of how we can deal with those existing structures. But then separately, we wouldn't necessarily want all those entire rules to then be able to be used in some brand new unbroken dirt, that should be slightly different, giving the planning commission the opportunity in the future, or like Jeff had said earlier, saying, go ahead and work on something and see what you come up with for a recommendation to the board for an option 2 or new versus old, however they would propose it. I look forward to that if that's something that we could come up with.
That's what they're like wanting to do.
Yeah.
Andy, for the two that are at 10, which is industrial mixed use, just for everybody's knowledge, can you kind of just go through what those are? Just some examples.
Yeah, so basically industrial would be like the industrial park over by the water tower by the fire department. I mean, that's the main area. There's other scattered properties throughout the village that might have some, not really too many. Those properties are probably smaller than that right now. In regards to
Smaller
them,
than 10 acres.
correct, right? And then, I'll take a step back a little bit. So the beginning paragraph, you'll kind of indicate that when planned unit developments were originally developed statewide, it was really for the large developments, like something that was going to have a lot of aspects that would come into the design and function, and how does it work with the ordinance for each community, and it would be different. Over time, it had become to realize that it was a tool that could be utilized for smaller properties that aren't in a conforming manner, that there could be some flexibility, right, in the ordinance, because based on variance requirements, it's so stringent. Way back, variances were looked at differently. Now with the state laws, they're very stringent and it's almost impossible to achieve a variance. So to deviate from the ordinance from that standpoint is no longer a tool. So then the PUD was being looked at as a tool to be able to work with those odd situations and hopefully have a win-win for everybody, win for the property and win for the community, and that the development being brought forward would be the best possible. So from a standpoint of that, that's why the acreages were so large, when you look at them 40 or 10. But in this case, it'll be 10 instead of 40 for industrial, for when that would to occur. And then for mixed use is really more of where you have one development that has multiple uses within it, like residential, commercial, would be pretty much the most type of mixed use, like the one that Bear Realty was presenting as a concept. You have that as a mixed use type. So I think from that standpoint, typically those are going to be over 10 acres. But I think really when it got down to it, the main district that we were hearing from and that we needed to have the flexibility on the acreage was really on the commercial. So for right now, with it going to 0, that's going to be helpful over the next year or so until the ordinance gets maybe updated, to be able to work with some of those citizens that have some ideas of wanting to do some redevelopment on lots that are less than an acre in some cases.
But what you're saying then is the smaller the number, the more flexibility there is, correct?
More properties would have the opportunity to have that tool being utilized, right?
So then again, I asked the question, why wouldn't we go to 0 on industrial and mixed use instead of 5? I mean, you went from 40 to 10, and I still haven't gotten an answer why. The staff is recommending 5. Why not just go to 0?
You had to begin hours and hours. So it was probably more of a compromise than absolutely, because there is no absolute that we felt we saw. And this was a compromise. And it may not stand, but at least it's not to really feel it's probably 7 months.
To go to 0.
It's offered. There were no place. So now we'll forward, ending with that later on. Once that's all the rest. If you like the two separate.
Okay, so you want to go to 2 PUDs, but again, I come back to why not put zeros on here instead of 5 or 10? Because you still haven't really answered that question.
I think, so my viewpoint, and I respect where you're coming from, Bill, is, sounds like with a workshop, they're going to be able to address some of these holes, if you will, because it's not a one size fits all. I hear what you're saying. If you just go to 0, there's full flexibility. There's, one of the answers I think that was given, was related to what the community's interests were, kind of as maybe what was steering the 5 or 10. So I think maybe the way to look at this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but would be if we pass this tonight as per the recommendation of the planning commission, and then look forward to the close to immediate work that the planning commission would like to do to make the edits and potentially create a final version that might be 2 different looks, 2 different PUDs. Maybe that's the way we should look at this tonight versus second guessing their hours of work. That's just a thought I've got.
And I was at the last meeting and I would agree with what Pete says, and I also have concern with the remarks that Mr. Hopkins has made. But there were a couple of things at that meeting that came out, like the definition of existing development that is non-conforming. I understand we have one that's a pad in Salem where someone wants to build something on it, and passing this would allow them to move forward with that work. The same with the gentleman from Wilmot. And what I took away from the meeting is that there's more work to be done on this, and that's what they're going to do, but passing it is
Step 1.
Mr. Foley said, this at least moves this part of it along.
Yeah, there would definitely need to be some time to think through how you come up with that definition, because it would, that sets the stage. And it wasn't something that you could just do in a meeting. It's going to require sitting down, going through, doing some research, seeing what other direction, get some input from the village attorney on what that would be, so that it's defined well and doesn't cause a problem.
I mean, this discussion has been going on for years with our hamlets such as Wilmot and Silver Lake and Salem and Trevor, where we have existing businesses that are non-conforming right next to the roads. If something were to happen or wanted to enlarge it, you're not able to do it the way it currently is. And this is what this will solve for now, step 1. So along with that, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-09-102.
Or staff.
This ordinance right here.
Yeah, but-
Is it the staff recommendation or the plan commission recommendation?
The 5 or 10.
10.1.
There's 2 options here, 5 acres or 10 acres.
Oh, well, with their recommendation of
With the plan commission recommendation?
10 acres.
Okay. Is there any other?
My understanding is that we have these. To make these recommendations, and we go throughout this for another plan commission, recognition. And because they do this work, it takes some of that work away from us, and we can maybe avoid passive discussions. I understand the reason for wanting maybe some clarification on this. But if they're working so tirelessly and hard on these things, I think that we should respect what they've done and respect that they considered all options and take their recommendation.
Okay. Nobody else has anything else? I will do a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ron? Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. 10.2 ordinance 2025.10-104, an ordinance amending the adopted land use plan maps for the village of Salem Lakes, maps 23, 24, and 25 from R8 medium density urban residential to HC highway business corridor and R9 high density urban residential on tax parcels 704-120-104-0900 and 704-120-104-0910 and 704-120-104-0920.
Motion to approve.
For informational purposes only, these parcels are located on the northwest corner of the intersection of 85th Place and State Highway 83. Sorry, so we have a first,
I'll second.
Ronnie jumped in already.
Hopkins and Gant. Is there any, do you want to go ahead and,
Yeah, I think this is really, it went before the plan commission, it was unanimous from a standpoint of taking a property that has multiple buildings, several, two different zoning districts and basically altering the zoning districts to match how they would like to reconfigure the lots in a sense, so that the residential uses are all on same one lot and that the commercial uses on another lot. So it really ends up being a positive one for the property owner to be able to better manage the property. But I think it's also a positive for the village to be able to take a property that is been a little difficult to work with and with the new owners to be able to make some improvements to it. And so it requires a comprehensive plan, which is the first item you're looking at. And then there's the follow-up zoning that would then allow for the zoning that would be needed to move forward.
okay. Is there any questions from the board?
And just to see really how it's going to end up is this one right here in your document. If you saw that, you can see how much cleaner it is with the buildings on one lot.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ron,
Ron?
Yeah, aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries.
He's a long ways away.
All right, 10.3 ordinance 2025.10-105. An ordinance rezoning tax parcels 704-120-104-0910 and 704-210-104-0920 and 704. Is that right? I think that's a wrong tax ID number. The second one shouldn't be 704-120-104-0920.
That would be correct.
Okay, thank you. And 704-120-104-0900 from M1 Limited Manufacturing District and R8 Urban Two Family Residential District to B3 Highway Business District and R1 Multiple Family Residential District. For informational purposes only, these parcels are located on the northwest corner of the intersection of 85th Place and State Highway 83.
motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, Hopkins and Pulley. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, just kind of reiterating what was stated before, and just for clarification, it is going to the R11, which is a multifamily district for the properties that would have two single-family homes on it.
Okay. Any questions from the board? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Number 11, Treasurer's Office, discussion and possible action on the following. 11.1, approval of vouchers in the amount of $2,613,121.17 for December, or for September 2025.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Good evening. I just also wanted to point out really quickly before you move to approve, the dates that are in front of you are actually through August. So the vouchers and the expenditure are for August, through August.
Through August, not September.
Correct.
Okay. Is there any questions from the board? No?
Kristen, I got one question for you, and this is regarding the lawn maintenance from Apex.
Okay.
When the invoices come in, are they tied to the areas that we had identified? I think it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Year and a half.
They are broken down by contract. I don't have that specific breakdown. There's contract A through D.
Right.
And then there's also additional locations that are also included in invoicing. They are separated out based on those identified, yes.
And then within A, it lists the properties that they're.
It does not list them specifically on the invoice, but I believe Public Works has a breakdown of what locations are included in those contracts.
Is it possible, Brad, we can just double check that?
It is broken down by contract and by account. So parks are paying for their portion of cutting parks, and like Village Hall and the rescue building next door, that goes to central services.
Yeah.
Utility district picks up all the lift stations and the treatment plant. So it is being accounted for correctly. And the RFP that we did send out, we broke it down even further. So we don't have to go pick apart A and decide which ones go to park, which ones go to utility district. So all the utility district will be on one invoice, all the parks will be on one invoice, and central services will all be on one invoice, making it much easier to understand.
Okay. I'll put a question to you outside of the meeting.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. Well. We have a tickle. Allergies. I will make a motion to approve the vouchers for August 2025.
I'll second.
Thought I already did.
Oh, you did?
I
You did?
I still seconded.
Oh.
Waiting for a vote.
Sorry. I didn't write it down. Okay, I apologize.
Don't pay up twice.
Yeah, I
got it.
withdraw my motion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ron, thank you. Anyone opposed? All right, 11.2 expenditure report through July 31st, 2025.
Also a correction on the expenditure that's through August, not July.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions from the board? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 11.3, resolution 2025.10-137, a resolution requesting exemption from Kenosha County Library tax for 2025 budget for the Village of Salem Lakes.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 12, Clerk's Office, discussion and possible action on the following. 12.1, approval of minutes from the August 5th, 2025 meeting. I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Approval of minutes from the August 18th, 2025 special board meeting.
I need this to be tabled. This set of minutes was not provided in your packet. The 18th was not
The
provided.
18th was not.
We'll have to table that till the 21st, but the rest were provided.
I gave you feedback on them.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
So do you want to withdraw your motion? Okay. So I will make a motion to table those minutes. I need a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ronnie?
Ron.
Hi, I'm trying to push 3 buttons at one time here. It ain't working. All right.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Approval of minutes from the August 27th, 2025 special board meeting. I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Anyone op-
abstain.
Okay,
I wasn't here.
6-1. Holy abstains. Okay. Approval of minutes from the September 8th, 2025.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Faber and Hopkins. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. And then approval of minutes from the September 22nd, 2025 special board meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Yeah, let's.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. 12.2 approval of applications filed with the clerk for retail licenses to sell fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquors in accordance with the provisions of chapter 125.04 of the Wisconsin State Statutes and the following, with approval contingent on background clearance check, completion of beverage server class, and payment of the necessary fees for the Colony House Restaurant. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Ooh, there was a lot here. Who was it, Sarah? Okay, I'll give it to Angela. All right.
You know,
Quick around here.
I don't know. I think we need to see Norm's certificate of completion on this license.
Yeah. By the way, congratulations, Norm. I have a
Yeah.
gift certificate I have to use before March. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, 12.3 approval of a cabaret license application for Colony House Restaurant, 25811 119th Street, Trevor, Norm Kismara, agent.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. I guess you're legal now. Okay. Number 13, Human Resources, discussion and possible action on the following. 13.1, addition of a full-time court clerk, administrative assistant to Village Hall staff.
Hi. So the first thing we're talking about is the court clerk. During the September 8th board meeting, Kristen Hedlund was interviewed and approved to be promoted to the village treasurer role. This is great for Kristen, but it's reduced our staff at the front counter. And as I'm sure you all know, our utility billing and taxes are coming. Phone calls are coming in. So in order to kind of help cover with that, Jessica Grundman, our current court clerk, has expressed an interest to become full-time.
So we were looking into it to where she would be half her time with court clerk still, and then half her time helping with the front counter to start with training and everything for this year. She has experience at the counter helping on occasion. She is a local. She's worked with residents through the court. So I would like to recommend Jessica Grunman to become a full-time employee with our administrative team. And she would qualify for all the benefits full-time employees qualify for and earn a wage of $25 an hour.
Okay, and we said that those would be allocated half to court, half to
Right.
village hall.
Is that additional hours or it takes the place of 2 to 1?
It's a half head count
It's a
ad.
half.
Yeah.
It's a half ad.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So we did place this in the 2026 budget.
Mhm.
Because we are short-staffed now, we could use the help, and with vacancy savings and not having those additional employees here at Village Hall, we do have the money for 2025 to start her now rather than January.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. 13.2, wage increase for Public Works Administrative Assistant Kristen Stone from $24.15 hourly to $28 salary.
Okay, Kristen started working for the village in 2021 and over the years has taken on more responsibilities here. Which is evident. She's in 3 different commission meetings. She does all the utility billing. I know she does a lot of extra work helping with parks. And coordinates with streets and the utilities departments. She also helps with the driveway permits and answers the phones and the front counter as well. With our staff changes this year, Kristen has stepped up a lot to support with any task given to her. She has become invaluable to the Public Works team, and we would like to get her wage on par with the other administrative staff. This is currently budgeted in the 2026 right now, but we do have vacancy savings to provide this for her for the rest of this year. So I would like to recommend Kristen Stone receive an increase from $24.15 an hour to $28.
Motion to approve.
Second
Is this a yearly increase? Is this a?
salary.
This
Yeah,
is for
salary.
salary. This is to get her on par with the rest of the team.
But it's not, is that a yearly increase? This is for a
So-
whole year, or is this in between a year?
This is, yeah, moving on
It'll
into
be-
next year,
Right.
20.
So when this was brought to me, I did ask staff to look at her hours because she would get paid overtime. So every night meeting, everything, she was getting paid overtime for that. And so they did a little study and I think this is only it's not a huge increase like you would think, but she is now going to be salary. So there will be no more overtime for that.
And then Bill, just to add on top of that, it was agreed upon that if we give her this wage now, she would not qualify for the 3% that's in with the
That's
budget.
what I was trying to.
This is
Sorry,
what we had
yes.
budgeted for 26, but
Mhm.
we would give it to her now.
That was what I was
Okay,
working.
Right.
at.
I kind of figured.
Sorry.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? 13.3, fire chief recruitment update and closure.
Okay. The fire commission voted to accept Chief Carr's rescinding of his resignation. Chief then agreed to give at least 2 to 3 more years to continue rebuilding the department as chief. And the fire commission voted to recommend closing the search and keeping Chief Carr on board.
Yes, so we need to just formally close the recruitment.
Motion to approve the closure of the fire chief's recruitment. process.
Hopkins and Brooks. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. 13.4, salary compensation for Brad Zaki and Sarah Spencer for performing duties of interim administrator. Do you want me to just take this one?
Go. for it.
Okay, so as you all know, we have not had an administrator for some weeks now. We do have a part-time Jay, but he is not here on a daily basis. Sarah and Brad were appointed as interim administrators when Cassandra left us. And they have been working, doing a lot of duties over and above what is their normal jobs. I know that Brad is more behind the scenes, and a lot of you have probably seen more from Sarah because she is more forward facing, whereas Brad's more behind, but they are both working together. I know that both of them have had calls with me in the evenings because that's when I'm available, sometimes even on the weekends. So they're putting in extra hours. They've also worked on days that they've had PTO, so they've taken vacation time, but they still do work on those days because that is what has been expected to keep things running. And so normally when you have this situation, it would usually only be one person stepping in as that role, and they would get paid the administrator's salary during that time that they cover until another one is hired. We have two people because, we do have a part-time and then they need to split. I mean, and this also, I want to say, happened at probably the worst time. Budget time is not the most ideal time to be without an administrator. And I can tell you that just in my experience from working with both of them over the past weeks and even leading up to the very first budget meeting, they put in a lot of time and effort, as well as staff did too. And they are fielding all of the calls and the work and, making sure that it's going to the proper places. So I will open this up for any comments or discussion now, and then we can decide what we're going to do.
So what are you thinking on as far as compensation?
I am thinking about just a one-time stipend. I think that it would be, easier, cleaner if we did it that way than try to figure out how many hours versus how many weeks for each of them. And so I would propose $5,000 each. And that's it.
And
But
that
that's-
would be from now until we,
Mhm.
I'll second that.
Make the motion, Dennis.
So,
So 5,000 for what? Just a one-time stipend
yes.
to pay for the extra time?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, Jay's stepping in and helping out too, but they still have to give him that information, feed it to him, get him what he's asking for. He doesn't know the history. He doesn't know where to find things. So they're still having to do that for him. I do think that having him on has helped with their workload, taking some of that off of them, but they still will have to continue to help out. And, I'm hopeful. I spoke with Jay last week and again today. I am hopeful that we will hopefully have a couple of candidates to interview here in the near future. But then usually they also have to give notice where they're at, and so it will be still some time.
And Jay is only here a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for clarification, Rita, did you make the motion with Dennis seconding?
I did not make a motion yet. I was just putting it out there
Okay.
for
So Dennis, you want to
Great.
make the motion?
I'll make a
Great
motion
talking
to,
point.
pay them $5,000 in a stipend, so
Each.
each, correct.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. 14, Public Works, discussion and possible action on the following. 14.1, contract with Root Pike Watershed Initiative Network, Respect Our Waters. Public outreach services to meet the public outreach and education requirements in the village's WDNR stormwater permit 2-year contract in the amount of $8,639.
In front of you is the Root Pike Watershed 2-year contract for renewal. We renewed it the previous 10 years, so 5 times. The village has been issued a WPDES general stormwater permit, which requires the implementation of public education outreach and public involvement and participation programs. The Respect Our Waters program educates residents through mailers, social media posts, online campaigns, articles, radio appearances, website hosting, and attending local events. It is comprised of 19 municipalities and the University of Wisconsin Parkside. The network allows for funds to be allocated in a more productive and efficient manner, assuring the requirements of our permit are fulfilled. This was budgeted in 2026 under the account 9080-52800-000. And my recommendation is for approval of the 2-year contract.
So just for clarification, this goes into another pool of money in which they broadcast this.
Yeah, throughout southeastern Wisconsin.
And
by
is this per year for the
No.
2 years?
2 years?
And this is something that we need to get our permit for the stormwater utility. It's a qualification to be able to form your stormwater utility, and they provide this educational service for us and 19 other communities.
Yeah, I guess where I'm going though with this is I don't necessarily see any of this educational material that even comes out in the flyer. That's why I'm asking. So our $8,639. What are we getting for it? Yeah.
Yeah, what are we gonna have?
There are mailers that go out. I've received mailers at my own house. I think a lot of them get thrown away. They do participate. They will attend like music in the park if we ask them to. They used to come out to Pumpkin Days, but they also did TV campaigns that I have watched. Like a series of 4 different commercials.
That piece of it I'm understanding. I'm just looking at it from our perspective. What do we see of the 8,600? And yeah, I get it, Dennis, that we have to have it, but when I read their material that's in here, it's not, the $8,600 is not dedicated to the village of Salem Lakes. Is
We-
where I'm going.
We also have a survey currently on our website that they're asking the residents, that they're gathering information. And our residents could win Visa gift cards. So this has been posted now for a few weeks, and this is part of the initiative as well.
And it's something we would have to do on our own if we didn't hire somebody to do it for us. And this is for 2 years, and we have done it in.
No, I get that. I'm just asking, what do we see of the 8,600? That's all.
So it sounds like what you had said, Brad, was if we were to invite them to different events, they would show up and have like a display table or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
They have done that in the past and the kids
So-
actually enjoy it.
Libraries, schools, anything like that?
We can ask them to put displays up there, make an appearance there.
So it sounds like maybe kind of going off what Bill's saying and what you're saying is possible. Maybe we're not fully utilizing, and maybe we could put a few more asks out there for some visits, maybe moving
Absolutely.
forward.
I'll make a motion to approve $8,639 to the Root Pike Watershed Initiative Network.
I'll second it. And I do like the idea of getting them in here to explain some of this to our citizens, to know exactly what, the stormwater utility is doing and what it's all about.
Yeah, maybe before we do the vote, is that an ask we could make, like have them come to a board meeting and give a little presentation?
They came to the board meeting 2 years ago. I could ask them to
Okay.
come again if you want.
Yeah, they have come here.
That 8,000 is for the full 2 years,
Correct.
so it's 4,000 a year, 4,000 plus.
Right.
We should put them on the calendar, or share our calendar with them then. For things that they could come to.
And maybe some of the things that they produce education wise should be on our website.
She'll be out in the hallway here.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. All right, so we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
Thanks, Brad.
Number 15, administration, discussion of possible action on the following items. 15.1, the potential sale of Silver Lake Village Hall and Fire Rescue Building, 113 South First Street, Silver Lake, Wisconsin, tax parcel ID 704 120-172-3006. Sarah does have a memo. I'm going to ask her to hand out now. And we can take that into closed session, but we can talk about those items. I did not keep it, no. Yes.
The information you're handing out, is this strictly for closed session?
I thought that we could talk about some of the reasons. I wasn't going to talk.
Yeah, you
about
could
the
certainly
specific
talk in
numbers on
general,
here.
but to the extent that you need to
Correct.
go into
This is
closed.
general, right? So, part of the reason for bringing this forward is that the building has sat vacant, since the merger. So it's been probably, 8 years now. It does not get used often. And while I'm not going to talk about the numbers that are before you, we'll talk about that in closed session. You can see what, it does cost us. In 24 and 25, the last two, 25 to date, there have been 7 meetings held there and 3 elections, and we have gotten, and it is available to rent out. The Parks Commission did approve that for that. However, we have not had any paid rentals. So in the meantime, as you can see, we're paying for utilities, pest control, internet, cleaning. Also not on here is insurance, plowing, and general upkeep. So, given that it is not generating revenue and we do have some repairs to make for it and it has been vacant, we as a board need to decide what we want to do with this building, whether that is status quo, whether that is rent it, put it up as a rental, or whether that is to put up for sale. And so those are our reasons that we are discussing this building, because it is not being currently utilized. So with that, there's no action on number 15. Number 16. Closed session, 16.1. Closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85 sub 1 sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Specifically, the sale of the Silver Lake Village Hall and Fire Rescue Building, 113 South First Street, Silver Lake, Wisconsin. Tax ID 704-120-172-3006. And closed session 16.2 pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85 sub 1 sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically the sale of 10335 278th Avenue, Salem, Wisconsin. Tax ID 704-120-213-0575. And 16.3, closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85 sub 1 sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session for the following purposes, specifically for the 2026 Teamsters Local Union number 200 contract.
Second.
So Hopkins and Gant, Bill Barheit,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. We are in closed session. Please turn to Wisconsin statute 1985 sub 2 for possible additional discussion and or action concerning any matter discussed in closed session. We had a motion by trustee Hopkins, second by trustee Barheit to reconvene into open with a unanimous vote. So 16.1, which was to discuss specifically the sale of the Silver Lake Village Hall and Fire Rescue Building at 113 South First Street, Silver Lake, Wisconsin. Tax parcel 704-120-172-3006. The board had numerous discussions. Part of those discussions, as I alluded to before we went into the meeting, was to discuss the expenses of keeping these buildings. And so I just want to share those with everyone now. In 2024, the expenses were $13,966.33. And I do want to say that plowing and insurance is not in these numbers. And then as of 2025, it has cost $8,285.08 for a total of $22,251.41 without insurance or plowing. For that building to be used for 7 meetings. Some of those were parks meetings, some were Lake District meetings, and 3 elections. We have also had some use of the building by nonprofits, which there was no charge. Those expenses are comprised of cleaning, utilities, pest control, internet, and then some IT things. So the board discussed different options. We discussed, keeping the building, status quo, no change. We discussed keeping it, sending it back to parks to have them try to repurpose that or come up with a plan for it. And then we also discussed renting and selling. The board, I guess I will make a motion now, that, and I want to put this out there too. So the rental price, that the, agent that, we use gave us for both buildings, he thought would be about $64,800 per year. And on top of that would also be the expenses that we will not be paying. So in 2024 was $13,966. That would be over and above that 64,000. So we're looking at right around $79,000. So I will make a motion. And I want to say too, sorry, this board has a fiscal responsibility. As everyone knows now, we do have to borrow money this year. This building has been underutilized for many, many years. And it is our job to try to be, look at things like that. And so I will make a motion now at this time to direct staff to explore rental options and any issues that would go along with that.
I'll second that.
Where would the residents of Silver Lake then vote?
So we are starting construction on the blue building across the tracks that's on the same side of the street as Uncle George's. And we are going to make that the fire department. And that is where the voting will move to. So we have a first and a second. Does anyone else have anything to add on this subject?
The only thing I'd add is we didn't discuss the repairs that are currently.
Yes, and the building does need repairs.
$60,000.
Correct.
In additional cost.
Correct. Yep. Okay. All right, then I'm going to do a roll call vote for this one. Trustee Gant. Trustee Hopkins. Trustee Faber.
Yes.
Trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Brooks.
Yes.
Trustee Barheit,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Motion carries 7-0 to explore rental options. 16.2. Was for the sale of 10335 278th Avenue, Salem, Wisconsin, tax ID 704-122-130-575. I make a motion to direct our attorney, Todd Terry, to proceed with legal procedures as discussed in closed session. Bucher, and who did you get? Faber? Okay. Okay. Trustee Barheit?
Yes.
Trustee Brooks?
Yes.
Trustee Polly?
Yes.
Trustee Faber?
Yes.
Trustee Hopkins?
Yes.
Trustee Gant?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Motion carries. 16.3 was regarding the 2026 Teamsters Local Union Number 200 contract. I make a motion to approve the 2026 Teamsters Local Union Number 200 contract. Okay, trustee Gant?
Yeah.
Trustee Hopkins?
Yes.
Trustee Faber?
Yes.
Trustee Polly?
Yes.
Trustee Brooks?
Yes.
Trustee Barheit?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Motion carries.
Second that.
Hopkins and Barheit, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? We're adjourned. Please turn your microphone